You know, learning a new language, it's one of the most rewarding things you can possibly do. But let's be real, it's a long journey. It's definitely not a sprint. So many people get lost, usually around the third or fourth year. They just hit a wall, feel like they're not making any progress, and then they quit. But I'm here to tell you, I have the map.
Look, I've been through that desert. I've walked through those tough spots, and I made it to the other side. I've graduated, as I call it, from learning English. And right now, I'm on that same path with Japanese and Italian. This whole process has completely changed my life, and I want to be your guide. I'm going to show you the way so you don't give up right before it all starts to get really amazing.
So here it is, the big secret. To get truly deeply fluent, you have to think of this as a 10-year process. Now, I know what you're thinking. 10 years? That sounds like an eternity. But trust me on this. Just accepting that timeline is the first and honestly the most critical step to actually succeeding. This isn't about getting fluent overnight. It's about building a sustainable habit that leads to something absolutely incredible.
So here it is. This is the map. I've broken the whole decade down into these 4 stages. I call them junior high, senior high, college, and then, at the very end, graduation. Each one of these stages has its own thing to focus on, its own set of challenges, and believe me, its own rewards.
Okay, let's dive into the first phase, junior high. This is all about one thing, building a rock-solid foundation. Seriously, for the first 3 years, your only job is to show up, do the work, and lay down that groundwork for everything else that's going to come later.
And the engine that drives this whole stage is just a simple but really powerful 15-minute daily habit. That's it. First, you do 5 minutes of basic vocabulary. Yeah, I'm talking the super boring stuff, like this is an apple. You just have to do it. Then, 5 minutes of grammar rules. And then, and this part is key, 5 minutes of something fun that connects you to the culture. Consistency here is everything. And I really cannot stress this enough. That fun part, it's not just some extra credit. It's essential. You will not make it through the 10-year journey if you don't find some way to fall in love with the culture. I don't care if it's the history, the food, the music, the movies. You need that connection to pull you through all the dry, repetitive stuff.
For me, when I started learning Italian, my motivation was super simple. It was food. I just had this dream of walking into a restaurant in Italy and ordering a meal without fumbling around like a tourist. And that one simple, tangible goal, it was enough. It got me excited to study boring vocabulary about kitchens and pillows because every single word I learned got me one step closer to that delicious goal.
All right, so after you've put in those foundational years, you're ready for the next stage, senior high. This is where all that hard work really starts to pay off. The language stops feeling like a bunch of rules in a textbook and starts becoming this living, breathing thing you can actually use in the real world.
And what's so cool here is how your focus just completely shifts. You move away from that pure memorization and strict discipline, and you start moving towards understanding context, just getting the gist of things and really exploring the language through media.
I actually call this process fuzzy learning. It's this sort of magic that happens when you just immerse yourself in the language, even if you only understand a little bit of it. For instance, I listened to the Harry Potter audiobook in Japanese. Now, do I understand every single word? No way. But I know the story, so my brain just starts to connect the dots, absorbing words and sentences through context. It is unbelievably powerful. And this just goes to show you can be at different stages with different languages all at the same time. After about 6 years with Japanese, I'm definitely in senior high. I can go to a restaurant and order just fine. But with Italian, I'm only a year in, so I'm still in junior high. You can absolutely learn more than one language at once. You just need that 15 minutes a day for each one.
Okay, here we go. The final and probably the most intense stage before you graduate, college. This is the big push that takes you from being pretty good, conversational, to being truly fluent. This is the path to mastery. And the key idea here is something I call super soaking. This is deep, consistent, daily immersion. It's the one thing that separates the advanced learners from the people who sound like native speakers. Most people get to the senior high level and stay there, which is great. But if you really want to graduate, you have to super soak your brain in the language.
So how did I do it for English? People always think you have to move to the country or marry a native speaker. I did neither of those things. My secret weapon? I listened to the audio edition of The Economist magazine every single day.
And this is what that looked like. For 3 straight years, I listened for 1 hour every single day while I did chores, like washing the dishes. I went through every issue, week after week. It was just an incredible amount of high-level English, and it soaked so deep into my brain that the words they became my own. So, after a whole decade of consistent effort, after you've super-soaked your brain, what actually happens when you finally graduate? What's the ultimate reward for all that work? Let's get into it.
To me, graduation isn't some formal ceremony. It's that magical moment when you can pick up a dictionary, flip through it, and you realize you just know the words. You've absorbed the language so completely that it's just a part of you now.
And the benefits? They're life-changing. It's not just a skill anymore. It's like having another arm or another leg. It opens up doors to completely new careers. You suddenly have access to this vast ocean of knowledge. Books, news, all of it. And best of all, you can connect on a really deep level with millions of people you never could have before.
But I want to end on this one really crucial point. While graduation is the big goal, this journey is not about waiting 10 years for a payoff. No way. Every single stage has its own rewards. The thrill of ordering your first coffee in senior high is just as real and just as exciting as the pride of reading your first novel in college. You are constantly getting rewarded along the way.
So now I'm curious. Looking at this map, what stage of the journey are you on? Are you in junior high, building that foundation? Or maybe you're in senior high, finding your voice? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, if you found this map helpful for your own journey, please give this explainer a like. Keep going, and I promise you, you will get there.